Alright, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about the judicial branch. So let's do it. Alright, so in this video, we're going to have a very broad overview of the judicial branch, the Supreme Court specifically. And there's really three things we're going to talk about. We're talking about Article 3 of the Constitution, Marbury versus Madison, and Federalist No. 78. So Article 3 is where the Constitution lays out the powers of the judicial branch. And the fact is, it doesn't say very much. In fact, there are really only a couple of really important, notable things that it does mention. One of the things it does say is that federal judges will serve for life terms with good behavior. So they have this job for life as long as they don't get impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors. Article 3 also states that Congress has the power to create lower courts. So really, that's about all that Article 3 says. In fact, it doesn't really talk about what exactly the judicial branch can do. In fact, judicial review, which we've touched on in Unit 1, isn't actually specifically defined in the Constitution. That comes about in Marbury versus Madison, which is another of your required Supreme Court cases. So Marbury versus Madison is the case that established judicial review. So what this means is that the Supreme Court gave itself the power to rule laws unconstitutional. So through judicial review, they can declare acts of Congress unconstitutional, executive actions and executive orders they can also rule unconstitutional, as well as state laws. So this is a tremendous source of power for the judicial branch, but again, it's important to note, it did not come directly from the Constitution, but rather from Marbury versus Madison. The third thing that we want to discuss in this video is Federalist No. 78. Now, we already know the Federalist Papers were written to support the new Constitution, and Madison, Hamilton, and Jay used these documents to really explain how these different branches would work and why the Constitution would be successful. In 78, Hamilton is talking about the judicial branch, and he essentially tells us we have nothing to worry about with the judicial branch. He says, yeah, I know, we're giving them life tenure, but that's really important. There's a good reason for that. The reason that federal judges need to have a life tenure and not be able to be fired, not be able to have their pay cut, it's because we need an independent judiciary, meaning that the judicial branch can't be worried about getting fired by Congress or by the president. Because Hamilton argues, if judges were worried that Congress or the president would fire them if they made a ruling they didn't like, then they couldn't do their job. And in Federalist 78, Hamilton says the job of the judicial branch is to protect the Constitution. It is to rule things unconstitutional, laws or executive actions that overstep the Constitution. So Hamilton here is telling us that judicial review is a thing. It wasn't directly in the Constitution, but it was mentioned here in Federalist No. 78. And he says this is the job of the Supreme Court. It's to rule things unconstitutional when the other branches go too far. And in this way, we can protect and defend and uphold the Constitution. Alright guys, so until next time, this has been a LaMoney production. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this intro to the judicial branch. Stick with me through the rest of the series. You'll learn everything you need to know about the Supreme Court, how they work. See you guys next time.